Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to round number 5 in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series live here from Irwindale Speedway. So glad you tuned in with us right here on the Sim Racing Network alongside Mitch Rollo. Tonight I am Ben Kilcrease, and Mitch Rollo also getting a picture that you see to you tonight as well. So some multitasking there for Mitch, but here we go, Mitch. Round number 5. We've had a great season so far here in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series. It's the Splash and Go Graphics 150 tonight, and it's at Irwindale, not maybe the track that we're used to seeing. It's on the inner track. It's on the bull ring. We're gonna see some bull ring type racing tonight for sure down on the inner flat track.
Lots of bumpers going to be applied tonight, I think, Ben. This is a very flat track. Pretty tough to pass at, so in order to get around the guy in front of you, you're going to have to either hope they make a mistake or, like I say, put that bumper to them, move them up the track, and get underneath them.
Championship standings coming into tonight has Samuel Roush atop the points leaderboard there. Ryan Matthews sits 5 back, Christian Challoner 14 back, Joe Schaefer Jr. 17 back, and Devin Morgan 18 back. You can find the full championship standings at racesara.com as well as all the other info on the Dreamer Racing Super Series and all the other series that take place throughout the week here in the Sim Auto Racing Association. That's racesara.com. Tonight's race is being brought to you by Splash and Go Graphics. They are your source for custom iRacing and NASCAR Racing 2003 paint schemes, logos, numbers, photo editing, designs, and more. You can visit them on Facebook to get your design started today. As we head into tonight, a lot of championship implications going to be talked about here this evening. Colin Allman set quick time. He was your winner at the last weekend at South Boston, rather. He'll start 10th from tonight. He set quick time and a new track record earlier in qualifying. We'll talk about that over the course of this 150-lap race. 150 laps is a long race, or it seems like a long race, but here Mitch turning 13-second laps. Gonna click by pretty quick. Let's run you through the starting lineup, though, as we get set to head to the green flag tonight here at Irwindale Speedway. It'll be the 27 of Justin LeDuc leading us to the green flag alongside of the number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr.
Starting third tonight is going to be that 31 of Christian Challoner, and to his outside we're going to have the 80 of Jacob Harberts in the 4th position.
Ryan Matthews is going to roll off inside of row number 3 in the 5th starting position, number 51 there, and to his outside will be David Kokorian in the number 66.
Devin Morgan in the 112 is going to start in that 7th position, and to his outside we're going to have Matt Rolfe in the 5 starting 8th.
Trevor Edwards rolls off 9th, and last week's winner, Colin Allman, going to round out the top 10, and the rest of the field going to scroll across the bottom of your screen as the pace car begins to pace the field around the bull ring here at Irwindale Speedway. It's the inner course, a quarter mile. This track is used to run the Legends and the Bandoleros and the front-wheel drive 4-cylinder cars on the real life. Tonight, we take the beast of the Super Late models and put them on here for 150 laps in the Splash and Go Graphics 150. Lights out atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car this time by. It sets us up for the green flag here as Justin LeDuc will lead Joe Schaefer Jr. on that front row all the way through 1 and 2 there. They'll head to the back straightaway. You see the straightaways open, or quite open, and you have a little bit of a room for error coming off the corners if you have to chase the car off the track. We'll see some of that tonight, along with a whole lot of other things. Round number 5 in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series is green here at Irwindale.
Down through 1 and 2, the 27 of Justin LeDuc with a good start, and the 6 and the 31 back there battling for the 2nd position.
Challoner going to take a real quick advantage of having that inside starting position. He'll get up to the 2nd position already. Following him will be Ryan Matthews in the 51. He's already up to 3rd after starting 5th, and here comes Devin Morgan in that 112. Joe Schaefer Jr. has not been able to get down yet, and that may be the story of the night. Who's going to be where on restarts, if we have any, over the course of this race as we run through the first handful of laps, already working lap number 4 here at Irwindale.
Yeah, it's going to be the name of the game. It's going to be on that is going to be being on that bottom line rather. As you see Joe Schaefer Jr. still stuck on that outside. He's going to have to get down, maybe a bit of a hole there behind the 67, and it closes for now. Down the front straightaway, and now he's not clear again, Ben. So the 6 of Schaefer Jr. in trouble here.
Schaefer started second, and he finally finds a hole back in around 8th or so. Meanwhile, new track record holder set the pole, but he has to start way back in 10th due to winning last week's race. Is now up to 5th. Colin Allman on the move after starting 10th.
And a great job by Allman to move up through the field like he has early on here. I don't think that's what these guys want to see. I think they wanted to see him stay a little bit further back there, a little bit longer, as he absolutely dominated the race last week rather. And they definitely want to keep him back there as long as they can if they have any shot of winning this thing.
Allman blistered the former track record by about a second and a half, and even out-qualified everybody else by about a 10th earlier in the night in the qualifying session. He sits 5th right now. Tire conservation going to be big and going to be a storyline over the course of this run tonight, Mitch. No tires allowed here in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series. You finish on the set you start on. So 4 tires for this whole 150 laps here in the Splash and Go Graphics 150. We worked lap 10 of 150, already 1/15th of the way complete with this race. Up front, it's Justin LeDuc out in front of the field. In that number 27, he leads the 31 of Christian Challoner. Challoner starting to challenge the 27 of LeDuc as they run down into turns number 3 and 4. He's all over the rear bumper, and we've got a race for the lead.
Good race for the lead, going down to turn number 1 there, Ben, as the 31 right on the bumper of Justin LeDuc, going down the back straightaway here. He gets underneath him. It's going to be a battle for the lead coming off the turn.
Great race up front. We'll see how the outside is able to shape up against the inside. LeDuc running the outside, Challoner on the inside. 27 versus 31. Challoner slides the car, a 4-wheel drift heading down into turn number 3. Really trying to get as much as he can early on here, and he'll take the lead with that pass. And just as that happens, the first 1-3 Designs caution going to come out of the night, and it's going to be for the number 18 of Donald Clark down in turns at number 3 and 4. He gets it turned around in the wrong direction, puts us under 1-3 Designs caution for the first time tonight. He had some help, looks like, as we'll get the replay pulled up.
And as you see on the screen right here, the replay going into the turn there, the 26 of Brian Helm looks like just gets into the left rear quarter panel of the 18 there of Donald Clark, and it spins it around. No harm, no foul there, no damage on that 18, so he should be fine. Hopefully, I don't think he stayed on the lead lap there though, Ben, so that could be an issue for him.
We'll lose at least 1 lap under this caution period, but plenty of time to make it up. He's the only car 1 lap down. The next car up, 24th, or 24 cars on the lead lap is what I was trying to get out there. Only 1 car 1 lap down so far. So competitive race so far, and Challoner up front could not have made the move any quicker there in the 31. Just as the caution flew, he had pretty much secured that lead, and he'll have the lead here for the restart. And probably to no one's surprise, Mitch going to choose that inside line.
Yeah, the bottom is just going to be where you want to be all night long. I don't think that top's going to come in. You see a lot of these other tracks that we go to, Ben, that bottom line rubbers up and gets hot, and these guys start to move up the track a little bit. I don't think that's going to be the case here tonight.
So we talked about the choices of the lines here and where it's going to shape up and who's going to have the best restart, etc. over the course of the night. We talked about Joe Schaefer Jr., who started second. Mitch, he's going to be restarting 8th. That'll put him on the outside line yet again. He's got some good good name or two in his ear. Ty Majeski, a former winner here at the Irwindale Inner track in SARA competition, and a winner at virtually every track on the service, just about, up in the ear of Joe Schaefer Jr. So just kind of walking him through, maybe trying to get down to the bottom and trying to work his way back through the field. One driver that's worked his way through the field, halfway up the scoring pylon from where he started. Colin Allman started 10th and has worked his way up to 5th as we get them racked and stacked and set for a restart here. Christian Challoner going to lead Justin LeDuc, Ryan Matthews, Devin Morgan, and Colin Allman back to the green flag on lap 19 of 150 as we get set to go back racing. It's the first restart of the night. Pace car off the track. Flagman throws the laundry back in the air. We're back racing here at Irwindale.
LeDuc stuck on that outside right now, outside of Kristen Challenger in the 31, and now the 51 gets underneath him. He's going to have to get down in a real hurry here, or else he's going to be back. What happened with Joe Schaefer is going to happen with him.
Matthews doing everything he can to work his way around the 27, and don't look now, but Colin Allman, new track record holder, pole sitter in qualifying earlier in the night. He's working his way up to, he worked his way up to 4th, and now looking for a spot on the podium, and he's going to have it, maybe down in 1 and 2, but LeDuc really putting up a fight. Does not want to let that 67 get by right now. He knows if he lets him by now, he may not have another shot at him over the rest of the night as we work lap 22 of 150. LeDuc really putting up a fight up there on the outside line. One of the hardest fought drivers on that outside middle groove we've seen all night long. But down into turn number 1, Allman finally going to clear the 27, finally gets that position. And now LeDuc under fire from Morgan in the 112 as they race to 3 and 4. That'll be for 4th.
And he continues to slide back. Looks like there might be a slight hole to get in here, but if he's not careful, he's going to cut off his nose. The side's better if it stays up top. And it's going to pull him off the corner. Just not going to be able to clear him, though, Ben.
Just can't get the run he needs on Edwards. He really puts the pinch on him. Tight quarter racing is what we were expecting tonight, and there's some right there. Some contact between the two. Up the track goes LeDuc, and boy, right in front of him, a small check up there with Morgan almost being held up by Colin Allman. Allman sort of pacing himself here early on as he's made it up to 3rd from starting 10th in this race. 27 laps in, 7 spots up the scoring pylon for the 67. LeDuc continuing to lose spots there in the 27. Unbelievable how important it is to get down to the bottom side of the racetrack. You see he's now fighting with the 0-3 of Chris Canfield. That's for the 7th position to the front straightaway. Now he'll be battling with the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. Remember, Joe Schaefer started 2nd in this feature. And, you know, by lap 10 or so, he was already back to 8th, and he's fallen back to 9th now, just clinching and fighting for a spot inside the top 10.
Yeah, we've already seen it, Ben. It's going to be so tough to pass here at the inner loop here at Irwindale, and that's just proving true here right now as the 27 of LeDuc still stuck on that outside of that 0-3 of Chris Canfield. Just can't get a good enough run off the corner, and as I say that, he's going to get clear of the 0-3 of Canfield. So a really good job there by LeDuc to get back to the bottom line.
Well, that's going on. Storyline battle up at the front of the field for 3rd. Devin Morgan trying to get around Allman, but Allman, he just slammed the gas off turn 2, roasted the rear tires, and really upset the handling of that machine as he went down into turn 3. He'll lose 1 spot to the 112 and some contact behind him. Boy, Harbert's almost a slide job on the front straightaway, and Edwards down in 1 and 2 in the 32 there crossed him up, and these guys continuing to go at it. Another crossover move down into turn 1. Some contact. He slides him up the racetrack, and he runs away. And now there's going to be more contact as LeDuc tried to fill the void that the 32 left on the inside. Great racing here at Irwindale on the inner part of this racetrack. Man, look at these guys leaning all over one another.
Ben, about 2 laps ago I said how difficult it was to pass here and how we weren't going to maybe see a lot. Oh, and the 32 goes around, he saves it. They keep it straight, and the caution stays, well, it's not a caution, as these guys stay green. Yeah, we stay green. That's the word I was looking for. But man, no, I was just saying how there was no passing going on, and these guys, of course, go and make a fool out of us and go start passing every lap. So a great job by these guys right now.
Great save by Edwards and great job by everybody. They fanned out about 5 wide heading down the front straightaway, and I mentioned it earlier in the race, or as we was coming to green, you know, you have that extra, 5 or 6 lanes to the outside of you on the straightaways if you need to chase the car up or if you need to avoid something. The wall's not right there where, a wall normally would be on a short track. So great job by everybody using every piece of the track, and great job by everybody keeping it straight and continuing to keep it straight. As from Edwards on back, we have got a hornet's nest of super late model drivers, the top in all of iRacing, going at it, trying to fight their way up into a top 10 spot.
Edwards having a really tough time right now here, I think, Ben. He looks like he's struggling with the handling of that car as now the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. gets underneath him, and he's under fire now from that 6. And now the 38, looks like the 38 car of Michael Goddard going to be right behind him to try and pounce too. So not looking good here for the 32 of Trevor Edwards. Maybe that damage taking a little bit of a toll on him.
A lot of tight corner racing from 10th on back, or really about 8th on back, and the second
Allman
1-3 Designs caution of the night is going to be Colin Allman over in turn number 2. The Pole Center race winner last week gets a piece of Justin LeDuc's bumper over in turn 2, and it spins the 67 out, putting us under 1-3 Designs caution for the second time here at Irwindale.
Yeah, looking at the replay here, going through, looks to be turns number 3 and 4, and then into 127, just gets into the left rear of Allman there and sends him around. Once again, not really any harm done there, no damage on either machine. So, but it's going to be really tough for Allman to go through the field at this point. Lap 44 or 150 here, Ben. So he's really going to have to scoot and boogie to get back to the front.
Absolutely, and we were talking about LeDuc earlier in this race. Mitch, he was a leader early on, led a couple laps, then got shuffled out to the outside line, dropped from what was a podium back to almost outside of the top 10. You know, that looked to me as a form of nothing against Justin here, but just sort of angry driving, Mitch. You know as well as I do, when you're put in a predicament like that, you start driving with anger, and you want to get back to the front, you want to get back to where you were, and you know, that's just a case of what looks like happened right there. Is LeDuc just in a hurry to get back to the front, puts the bumper to Allman. Didn't mean to spin him out, maybe meant to slide him up the racetrack, but you know, here in these small, tight, flat turns, every small bump is going to really affect the handling of the car in front of you, and it looks like LeDuc going to be given the EOL penalty, so he'll be joining Allman on the march back to the front of the field. So LeDuc now from top 5 back to outside of the top 20. Top 5 as they sit right now. Christian Challoner still with the lead. Ryan Matthews runs second. Devin Morgan third. Jacob Harbert's fourth. And it'll be Chris Canfield going to jump up into that 5th position with Joe Schaefer Jr. Going to restart here 6th on the outside, albeit, but he's slowly but surely making his way back up to where he started.
He just cannot catch a break with these restarts, Ben. I think he's been on the outside every single time. So hopefully, if we do get another caution, he'll be in a position to maybe be on the inside and be on the other end of that for a change.
We'll see what happens here as they rack 'em and stack 'em, set for another restart. It's the second one of the night. Green flag is back in the air. We're back underway. A good restart from the outside line of Ryan Matthews, and he's going to try and take the lead to the back straightaway. Matthews may have found something on the middle groove. Later in that run, he pinches the 31 down. Some contact there between the two up front. Not going to have it, though, this time at the line. It was Challoner, and he'll fall in the line. Smart move there. Finds the hole, takes it for the time being. Morgan lets him in the 112. Behind him, it's the 80 of Harbert. And look who's stuck up on the outside again. Joe Schaefer Jr., but Chris Canfield out a bumper full of the 32. Saves it off of turn 2. That allows Schaefer to get right down in front of him. And boy, a big stack up from about 7th on back as these guys are 2x2 racing.
It was a great save by the 6, or by the, I believe it was the 03 of Canfield there to try to keep that thing straight and keep the green flag out. But as you're saying, battle here from about, looks like 9th on back between the 77 of Ryan Doucette and the Pepsi car there, the 66.
Oh, Edwards not going to save it this time. Maybe he does. Scratch that. Don't listen to anything I say. Got a heck of a bumper there. Looked like from Goddard, I do believe, and was able to save it again. He will not be spun out or denied being straight by anybody, as he has just kept that car from spinning out. That's 3 times now for Edwards, performing a masterful save off turn 4. It dropped him back in the order quite a bit from, you know, inside the top 10, now fighting for a spot inside the top 15, but it's much better than having a wrecked race car and, you know, taking out half the field with you.
Yeah, great job by Edwards. He's been put through the ringer tonight as he's under fire yet again Looks like the number 19 of Davey Rindo is going to be trying to get around the outside of him as he's back on the outside again. And these guys are just fighting it out back here like it's the last lap, but we're only on lap 57 to 150.
Some great action going on. Look at the 92 there. Ty Spearman with those neon yellow custom numbers. Really sharp looking ride there. So glad iRacing implements the custom number system, and so glad we have them here in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series. Some spectacular looking cars all throughout the field here tonight, and we look forward to seeing all these cars over the course of the season. Let's talk about the championship standings as we get a small break. And I know there's a lot of action going on, but we'll chat about the championship real quick. Samuel Roush, championship leader heading into tonight. Mitch, he sits 11th, the guy who is 5 points heading into tonight behind him. Ryan Matthews up in second. So Matthews looking to have a good points night if he can continue to run where he is at right now.
Ryan Matthews doing a really nice job with that 51 machine. We saw him on that last restart almost get around the 31 of Christian Challoner. So if he keeps this up, he's going to make up some good points on that number 13 of Samuel Roush, as long as Roush doesn't start coming to the front here.
Which Roush looks to be doing. He is 11th right now, and he's got a gaggle of cars in front of him to get caught up in anything. Roush works the bottom side of the racetrack, looking to make up a position on the 23 as they race to turn number 3. That's Pataskin, the 23 on the outside. Roush works down on the bottom. You got Doucette there in the mix in the 77 as well, and Goddard in the 38, who is starting to run that middle lane, Mitch, and really having some success up there, albeit it's in the 7th position, but he's holding off everybody behind him.
Yeah, the 38 doing a really nice job there. And once again, these drivers making a liar out of me, because I said earlier in this race, Ben, I don't think that top groove is going to come in, or the middle groove rather. And here it is. I mean, these guys are almost, there's almost more guys running it just in a single file line than they are on the bottom. So, definitely this track, the track state evolving into something that I thought it wouldn't. And these guys got a multi-groove racetrack to go in the corners here.
That they do. And we'll keep an eye on that over the course of the run as we ease up on a halfway point of this race. It is ticked by in a hurry. Only been going 20 minutes, and we're closing in on a halfway point already. As Ryan Matthews, speaking of closing in, he's trying to close in on your leader Christian Challoner. It was 4/10 last time by. You can almost see the gap start to visually close in on him. It's he lost just a tick that time, but nonetheless he's been gaining more than losing over the front on the leader Christian Challoner. Devin Morgan sits 3rd in the 112. He is slowly but surely starting to close in on the rear bumper of the 51 as well. And don't count out Harvard's there in the 80 and Schaefer in the 6. We're going to have a top 5 or a 5-car battle here with the top 5 for the lead in the next couple of laps if they're not careful.
Definitely are, Ben, as that 112 Devin Morgan having a really, really solid week this week. Last week he had a good run. He was just, hanging in the top 10 there. He didn't have really the week that I think that he wanted to have, and this week he's coming back and doing a really nice job with that 112 machine, and been sticking in the top 5, top 3 most of the night here.
Morgan rides at the tail end of the podium, at least for now, and looking to change that over the next handful of laps. You can see the front brake rotors on that machine glowing a very bright red as he circles around this bull ring here at Irwindale, sporting the Dreamer Racing Super Series logos on the side of that car. A beautifully painted machine. Speaking of the Dreamer Racing Series, they're the title sponsor of the Super Series here in the Semi-Auto Racing Association. The Dreamer Racing Series is a new league and series that seeks to provide a clean, fair racing environment, all while giving its drivers the opportunity to accomplish their dreams of making money racing a reality without the crazy overhead of owning a real race car. The series features a season-end bonus. However, prizes are paid weekly, with the season champ taking home bonus cash. For more information, you can find them online. Visit DreamerRacingSeries.com for more info. Up at the front, Christian Challoner leads the Splash and Go Graphics 150 from Irwindale. We've got a nice little rhythm going here. Only 2 cautions up to this point, and we just passed over to halfway. Perfect time for us to take a quick commercial break, pay some bills here at the Sim Racing Network. We'll return to take you to the checkered flag. You're watching the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series live on the SRN. We'll be back.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, Watson, let's analyze the chemicals in this cigarette smoke. Cadmium?
Check.
Formaldehyde?
Check.
Arsenic?
Sir, isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Yeah. Isn't arsenic what they used in rat poison?
Oh, what was I thinking, sir? It's not like we're gonna smoke them.
Neither will the rats.
Tobacco is no joke. Cigarette smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
Welcome back to Irwindale Speedway, the Sim Racing Network's live triple threat streaming coverage, available on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And no matter what platform you're watching, be sure to subscribe, follow, give us a like, etc. That way you can be notified whenever we go live. And it's been an exciting race, to say the very least, so far here tonight at Irwindale Speedway for the Splash and Go Graphics 150. Christian Challoner has taken the lead around lap 20 or so and hasn't really looked back. He had to survive a couple restarts, did just that, and he's been the class of the field as of late, as we're just a little bit past halfway, closing in on 50 laps to go in this one, round number 5. It's been a dandy. Only 2 cautions so far and some great racing throughout the whole field. Ryan Matthews, the driver, in second. He started this race back in 5th and worked his way up to the runner-up spot pretty quickly. Devin Morgan started 7th and has worked his way up to 3rd. Joe Schaefer Jr. has had a very eventful event. He has started outside of row number 1, taking the initial green flag and dropped almost outside the top 10. Got stuck on the outside, got shuffled away back, and luckily has made his way back up to 4th. And Jacob Harbert's there in the number 80. He's just kind of sort of rode around the same spot all race long. Hasn't really gained much, hasn't really lost much. Sits 5th right now after starting 4th in this one. And Chris Canfield, the 03 right there behind him, he's had an eventful race. He has started 11th up to 6th, and one driver who's really worked his way through the field right behind them, Dallas Pataska, started 25th and is up to 7th, and he is not slowing down in the future. It doesn't seem to be, as we close in 54 laps to go. He's got a good battle going on in front of him. He's in a good battle with him by himself right now, with the number 5 of Matt Rolfe there, holding on to the 8th position, at least for now.
Really nice job here this week by Matt Rolfe. We've seen, in the past few races, Matt has started up front and kind of faded to the back. Tonight's kind of been the opposite. He's running 8th right now, doing a really nice job. You know, coming through. I'm not sure where he started, but definitely done a really nice job coming and getting into the top 10 and doing a really nice job with that 5 car.
Rolf started 8th and, well, sits 8th right now and is battling with Pataska there. Pataska going to have the 7th position of the line that time, but nonetheless, some great battling just outside the top 5 between all of these drivers right here in this gaggle of cars. And speaking of battling, not so much a battle anymore up front, as Christian Challoner has opened up a 9/10 of a second lead over Ryan Matthews. Looks like Matthews' machine has really started to fall off the deep end, and he's continuing to slip back and now into the clutches of the 112 of Devin Morgan. And if he's not careful, Schaefer going to be right there on his bumper as well. So we'll keep an eye on that battle over the next couple laps. But the real big battle on the track is for that 5th and 6th position. Harbertson, Canfield, and Pataska, Rolf, and all these guys. 4 cars going after 1 spot, and they're really putting on a show for us.
Doing a really nice job. All 4 of these guys, the 523, the 03, and the 80, all kind of just sitting under a blanket here together, doing a really nice job, giving each other some room. And as I say that, Matt Rolf tries to stick it 3 wide, but he doesn't, as oh, there's contact. Rolf sends him, and he saves it. A really nice save there by the 03 at Canfield.
A spectacular save. We've seen a lot of great saves like that tonight. You see the damage on the front of the 3. I'm sure he's gotten into somebody over the course of the night. Some tight quarter racing here at the inner part of the Irwindale Speedway, the bullring, I like to call it, down on the inside. They race legends and bandoleros on this track in real life. The super late models stick to the outside, the 4/10 mile paved portion on the outside of the Speedway. But boy, oh boy, the SARA guys put the super late models on here. This is their 3rd trip to the inner part, and boy, it is a really exciting race. And to be honest, some tight racing, but Mitch, it's been really clean all night long. We haven't seen a lot of just blatant contact. I mean, there has been contact, don't get me wrong, but that's what you expect when you head to a quarter mile in a super late model. But nonetheless, it has been a very clean race tonight. Only 2 1-3 designs caution periods all night long.
Yeah, really nice job by these guys to keep it clean and green for most of the way. And as we were talking about before we went back and looked at that battle for 5th, we were talking about that 112 of Devin Morgan. He has now made his way to 2nd and is trying to chase down that number 31 of Christian Challoner, but Challoner still holding his ground on that 112, is this time by Morgan. Looks like they stay about the same that time by there, Ben.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the times between the two. Looks like Morgan going to need one of those 1-3 designs caution periods to maybe have a shot at this win. They're running virtually even lap times and not a whole lot of lap traffic for your leader up ahead either. So Morgan's going to be hoping for a caution. Challoner hoping to run this one all the way to the end as we close in now. Just 36 laps to go here at Irwindale Speedway. He'll catch Bill Martin there in the 39. Martin was up inside the top 15, and Martin pulls it to the pits.
Oh
just
my!
As we begin to speak of him, and man, big trouble there for Martin. Having a good run, and to the pits he goes.
I'm looking at the lap times right now, Ben. Devin Morgan has closed 2.5 tenths on that 31 of Christian Challoner. He's now under a second away from catching that leader. So Devin Morgan maybe has a little something left in the tank here, Ben.
Might just do it. We almost rode him off, and you mentioned that, and he's about the same that time by. Maybe it was a mistake by Challoner that allowed Morgan to close in on him. I know a lot of these drivers in the SARA Dreamer Racing Super Series, Mitch, they kind of trick us like that. They save and save and save all race long, and then when we get about 20 laps to go, then they really turn the wick up and start closing in on the drivers in front of them. That could be what we're seeing out of Devin Morgan right now in the 112, sporting the whether it's Gary Below, Augie Grill, whoever the inspiration is on that 112. Certainly on the short track side of things, probably a hero to Morgan, and trying to do them well here tonight, driving their number, and he's doing just that. He closes in another half-tenth. He's got 30 laps to do it. He's got to get there, and he's got to get there in a hurry.
He's got time to do it, but you're right, Ben. If he's going to make his moves, he's got to make them now. He's got to try and get up to that rear bumper of Challoner pretty quick here, because 30 laps at the Irwindale inner loop is not going to take very long when you're in the car, in the helmet, and trying to catch him. So he's going to have to do it pretty quick here, as he closes in another 10th, Ben.
14 seconds a lap is about what these guys are running, just a little over 14 seconds a lap. And Morgan, wow, you can visually see him dive it hard down into 3 there, trying to get everything he can, as he is just over 8/10 back off the bumper of the 31. We're on board with Morgan right now as you see him try and run down the 31 in the closing laps of this race. He closes in a couple thousandths there. He's going to need about a half a tenth a lap if he wants to get there and then challenge Challoner for the lead.
Devin Morgan doing a really nice job here. Had to have been saving his tires all race long, because now looks like he's got the fastest car out of the top 2 in Challoner, and just got to manage his stuff still, but you know, push the car a little harder, try and get up to him, as he's just under 8/10 back from that 31 of Challoner.
I think he's going to need a mistake on the 31 to really get there. It's one thing if you can catch him a little by little, but he is almost catching him too little by too little. He really needs to pick up the pace about a half a tenth a lap if he wants to get closed in a pretty good chunk that time, but washes up in 3 and 4, makes a mistake himself. Still gains a little bit or stays about the same, but it's gonna come down, I do believe, to the final lap, whether he gets there or not. And then how's he gonna get around the 31? Does he use the bumper or does he try and do it cleanly? It's under 7/10 now, the race for the lead.
Challoner's got to be sweating bullets under the helmet, and you know, really worrying about that 112 of Devin Morgan, because if he does get to him, I think Morgan may put the bumper. So Challoner, that's something he's gonna have to be ready for, is that 112 to put the bumper. But honestly, I don't see it happening. I don't see him getting there in time, Ben. We've got about 20 laps to go here, exactly 20 laps to go here at Irwindale, and you know, he's gonna have to make up a little more time every lap if he's gonna want to make it.
Challoner won the season opener back at Iowa in what was a fuel strategy race, went caution free and come down to who was the best on fuel, and now he's looking to do it upright and handsome here at Irwindale, trying to win it the old-fashioned way by going out and leading every lap and dominating this race, which is what he has done virtually since lap 20 or so. So over 100 laps now, Challoner has been out in front, and he is loving the clean air here at the Irwindale Speedway on the inner part here. Some spectacular racing from, you know, 5th on back, and these guys even in the top 5. Top 4, top 3, they've all been going at it pretty hard all race long too. This race has not had a slowdown for excitement at any point. 15 laps to go for Challoner this time by. Can Devin Morgan close in anymore?
He lost quite a bit that lap, and I'm not sure if he made a mistake or if his car is just falling off, but he did lose quite a bit, but now gains it back as he's just under 7/10 back from Christian Challoner, and 6.5 that time at the line, Ben. He's doing a really nice job. It just, like I said, I don't see it happening. If he does get to him, it's going to be really tough to get by him.
Absolutely. 13 now for the 31 of Challoner. A one-time winner here, looking to make it a 2-time, and boy, don't count out Morgan now. He is closing. It's just a matter of if he's going to get there. You know, sometimes, Mitch, it's not about who has the better car. It's about who is, you know, hitting their marks the best, who is in the best rhythm. And, you know, if Morgan gets on a good, you know, 10 laps, that's all he needs is 10 good laps, 10 good rhythmic laps, and he may be able to get to the bumper of the 31. However, Challoner, if he gets 10 rhythmic laps, as opposed to Morgan, you know, making a mistake here or there, that could be the deciding factor who goes victory lane behind them. Joe Schaefer Jr. decides it's now time to pick up the pace and get to the inside of Ryan Matthews. That was for the 3rd spot, and Matthews surrenders it to the 6th, and Schaefer said he surrendered it. He's going to dive back to the inside as they'll go side by side for the final podium position here at Irwindale Speedway. 8 laps to go this time by.
Great battle for 3rd here on a track between Schaefer Jr. and Ryan Matthews. These guys, as we said earlier, Joe Schaefer, started really well in this race and slid back, unfortunately, after starting on the outside on the initial start of this race, and has now recovered really nicely to be riding in the 3rd position right now. But with Ryan Matthews breathing down his neck there in the 4th position, he's got to be careful not to make a mistake and slip up.
Boy, what could have been for Joe Schaefer Jr. in the 6th had he not dropped almost outside the top 10 at one point. He's done a great job working his way back up to 3rd. Great job by Devin Morgan, who has worked his way up to 2nd in this race from 7th. And Challoner, he has just been on a roll all race long there in the 31. Sometimes the invert, seems to bite you in the wrong direction, but for Challoner, it was almost picture perfect tonight. An 8-car invert put him starting 3rd. And, that allowed him to get up and challenge for the lead very early on in this race. 4 to go there for Challoner. And boy, these top 4 now separated by only 1.2 seconds. It's really closed in up front. And boy, even Pataska there in the 23, he has come out of nowhere and started challenging Ryan Matthews for the 4th spot. He sits 5th. He may not be done in this race. Going to be a little late to do anything now. Oh, and now he's smoking smoke out of the 23 of Pataska, just as we were talking about him. Coming to 2 to go there.
Commentators cursed there, Ben.
How about that? Challoner off turn 4. Just 4 more corners around the Irwindale Speedway here, and he's going to do it for the 2nd time this season. Grabbed the lead early on. Never really looked back through 3 and 4. Christian Challoner, he's going to do it. He wins the Splash and Go Graphics 150 after some avoidance there on the final turn. Some spectacular racing all night long. Challoner with the victory here at Irwindale.
The great run by Challoner. He showed that he had the car to beat. He had the best car all night. He led a lot of laps. Like you say, from about lap 20 on, he led this race. And he showed that no one really had anything for him, except for maybe Devin Morgan at the end, but just not enough laps for Morgan to get to him and do anything with it.
Challoner going to burn him down on the front straightaway. You won't miss that celebration. It'll be live on our corner-to-corner coverage. We'll do a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk to the podium finishers here tonight. You're watching the Dreamer Racing Super Series live on the Sim Racing Network.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Irwindale Speedway, where it's now time for podium interviews, and we'll send it down first. It's Mitch Rolo, who's caught up with the driver, who is probably thinking, oh, what could have been started second, fell back and then fell back, and then all race long it was kind of a claw back to the front. Joe Schaefer Jr. Good points night though, Mitch, as he comes home third tonight.
That he does, Ben. As I'm down here with Joe Schaefer Jr. Joe, it was a great run for you tonight. We saw early on in the race there, actually the initial start, you were on the outside and just couldn't get down to the bottom. Just talk about how dominant that lower line was early in this race and how tough it was to pass.
Yeah, it's tough, especially on the first start when the track is cool, because at this place where there's really not a lot of banking, it's really hard to make the top work, and I actually got stuck out there a couple times early in the race. I think if I would have been able to get down a little earlier and if I could have fallen back to 5th instead of 8th, I think I would have had a much better shot to win, but had a really good race with Ryan, had to work him over for 25 or 30 laps, just trying to set him up before I finally felt confident enough to show him a nose, and he would give me some room. It's a great rebound from last week after getting intentionally taken out, so overall I can't complain.
Yeah, talk about how frustrating it is, because we saw, you had a really fast car at the end of that thing. It's got to be frustrating to know how fast your car was, and to deal with that early in the race and having to go just about to the back of the top 10. You think you had a shot at this win here tonight? Oh,
I absolutely think so. Just by how fast I was able to close on the guys in front of me. Just at the end there with the last 10, 15 laps or so, I cleared Ryan, and while we had been racing, Devin pulled away from me and had started to gain on Christian. And within a few laps, 2 or 3 laps, I was all over Devin. So I think if I could have maybe been a little more aggressive with Ryan, or got a better timing on a caution and get a restart on the bottom, I might have had something for Christian. But Christian's one of those guys that's pretty hard to pass. So catching him would have been one thing, passing him would have been another.
Absolutely. And Joey, thank you for your time. Is there anyone you want to thank here tonight for this third place run?
Yeah, I want to thank the posse, and especially Ty Spearman this week. He ain't been having too much fun with this lately, but he puts a lot of time in to help me and make sure that I feel comfortable and fast.
Third place finisher here tonight, that was Joe Schaefer Jr., and I'm going to go try and catch up with Devin Morgan.
So great interview there by Joe Schaefer, and like I said, a good points night for the driver of the number 6, a winner earlier in this season. Devin Morgan started this race in 7th and worked his way up to a runner-up spot here tonight. Mitch, what's he got to say about the Splash & Go Graphics 150?
Yeah, I'm down here with Devin Morgan. Devin, it was a really great run for you. You started 7th, and that was the lowest you got tonight as you made your way up through the field and ended up finished 2nd. Talk about your run here.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be able to start on the inside there, and the inside was just really key at the start. We was able to pick off everyone on the outside pretty quick, and then the restart we were able to get in really fast on the bottom, and that was able to get me up to 3rd, right there behind my teammate. And
yeah,
then as the race went on, we were just slightly faster, but not enough.
Yeah, we were just talking to Joe Schaefer Jr. about the frustration that he was feeling with that outside line on that initial start. It was pretty important early on in the race, but talk about how that outside line came in. Did it come in for you, or were you mostly stuck to that bottom? Was that your preferred line tonight?
I never really jumped up and tried the outside, which I'm generally one of the ones that would be the first person, but it was just really working on the bottom, and I don't think we really had the gear in it for the outside, so I just stuck to my gut and kept it on the yellow line down there.
Devin, it was a great run for you tonight. Is there anyone you want to thank for your 2nd place finish?
I gotta thank Leduc Matthews Racing for the great setup, Ryan Matthews and Leduc for working on it all week and being able to test and everything. I gotta thank Dreamer Racing Series for coming on board on the car, and also for sponsoring the Sim Auto Racing Association Super Series. Gotta thank SARA for putting on the event every season to have such a great competition to run against.
We thank you for your time, Devin, and hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
And I believe Ben Kilcrease has caught up with the winner of this race, that 31, who led from about lap 20 on tonight. That's Christian Challoner.
Thanks, Mitch. Challoner's second victory here tonight. First one comes at Iowa in a completely different style of race. Tonight, Christian, you just go out, you grab the lead early, and then you dominate this thing. Talk about your run tonight in Splash and Go Graphics 150.
Yeah, I mean, that's really tough race, like physically more than anything, because it's more of a torture test than a race there. You're always up on the wheel the whole time. I kind of got a bit of a freebie on that one, to be honest, because I got a good invert and I was able to get by Justin pretty early on, so it could have been a lot harder, and I'm really glad it wasn't, because it was tough just driving the thing. But I gotta say, a really great job to my teammates, Dallas, Trevor, Rash, for building a really good car there. I've not really made it a secret that I don't like this place, and I haven't really done that much practice for it. But they put together a great car, and we picked up the win with it. So that was pretty cool.
Certainly turned out well. So we talked about it in the broadcast. Sometimes you get lucky though on the invert, and it puts you in a prime position to, well, like you said, get a freebie. I don't think any win here in sim auto racing competition is a freebie by no means, with the top drivers in all of the land competing. You did a spectacular job tonight. Going to be a good points night for the 31 camp. Came into the night 14 out of the lead. Roush didn't have a good night. Matthews finished behind you. So heading into round number 6, you guys really going to be sitting pretty nice up atop the championship standings board there. Talk about maybe your run for the championship this season and how crucial it is to get these good finishes week in, week out to stay atop the points here in the Dreamer Racing Super Series.
I mean, yeah, you kind of touched on it a little bit with talking about the inverts and all that. And yeah, it's really kind of a consistency championship more than anything else. Is that pretty much if you're in the top 5 the whole season, you're basically going to win. Just because, like you say, it's the standard competition so high, and it's so hard to actually pick up wins. I kind of didn't really come into this season sort of looking at a run for the championship, but I guess we've had some good runs. I mean, we picked up 2 wins, and the other results haven't really been that bad either. So it's possible. I feel real bad for my teammates there, both Dallas and Rash. Dallas had a technical problem with qualifying, which is why he had to start at the back, and then he was blowing up at the end, but still managed to grab a 5th. And same for Rash, really. He won the contender last night, but then he blew up early tonight. I guess we're probably a bit marginal on the tape there.
Nonetheless, worked out for you. Put you in victory lane here tonight. I know you've already thanked some guys. Anybody else you want to add to that list as we get set to head to Milwaukee next week?
I'm pretty sure I got everybody. I guess I'll give a shout out to McKinney as well, because he was there spotting for me a little bit, kind of making sure I didn't give up the last 25 laps. So yeah, I give a shout out to him. And really Matt for kind of sort of pulling the league back to the kind of racing that I enjoy. It was a little bit of a spell where we kind of a bit crazy and all that, and he's really cleaned it up, and I think it's a really great league.
Well, there you have it, Christian Challoner, second win on the season. Wasn't coming in chasing a championship, but 5 races in, looking pretty good. We'll look forward to seeing you next week in Milwaukee, Christian.
Thank you.
There you have it, Mitch. Winner tonight in the Splash and Go Graphics 150 from Irwindale. He wins here tonight at second win on the season in only 5 races. Gets set to head to, a completely different racetrack next week for the Salty Hooks 100 at the Milwaukee Mile. But, man, let's talk about this race. Only 2 1-3 Designs caution periods of the night are on the night, and just some great racing throughout the whole field. We saw battles for the lead. We saw battles from, 5th on back. Everywhere you looked around the bull ring, there was racing tonight.
There was lots of great battles throughout the whole field, like you were saying, Ben. Usually when you come to Irwindale, especially the inner track here, the bull ring as you call it, usually there's not a whole ton of green flag racing. I'm going to be honest. There's been very few races that I've watched where we've only had 2 cautions in a 150 lap race. So that really speaks to the amount of talent and and great drivers here at the Sim Auto Racing Association.
That it does. Let's take a look at the final finishing results from tonight. Challenger going to come home with the win. Morgan second. Third is Joe Schaefer Jr. Ryan Matthews fourth. Fifth to Dallas Pataska. Sixth to Matt Rolfe. Great run there from Matt. Jacob Herberts comes home seventh. Eighth to Trevor Edwards and Chris Canfield. Ninth, and David Krikorian rounds out the top 10. The rest of the field going to scroll across your screen there. Some great runs, in the top 15 there. Kyle Souza up from 20th up to 12th. Ryan Doucette from 17th to 11th. Justin LeDuc, sort of the heartbreak of the night, was leading early on and sort of got into some mishap over in turn number 2 with Colin Allman. Sent both those drivers to the rear. He rebounded for 13th. Just some great racing all night long. I can't say that enough because, boy, it's like you mentioned, Mitch, coming to the bull ring here at Irwindale, we've been here in the past with many different cars. It's not always as clean as these guys showed us tonight. It was some tight quarter racing, some beating and banging going on, but nonetheless about as clean as you can get on a quarter-mile flat bull ring. And I'm really looking forward to Milwaukee next week in the Salty Hooks 100. Head to the Milwaukee Mile. That's always a fun racetrack. It's really a big momentum track there. If you can roll the corner and get off of 2 and 4, then you're going to have a pretty good chance at winning the thing. So we look forward to that. That's round 6, and you can catch it live right here on the Sim Racing Network. But Mitch, as we get set to head out of California tonight, any final thoughts from Irwindale?
Yeah, definitely was. Like I say, a lot of great action on the track tonight. These guys really showed that you can go green here at a place like the Irwindale Bull Ring, and put on some great racing at the same time. We saw a few spins here and there that didn't bring out cautions, but nonetheless, all these guys did a really great job, and I'm looking forward to next week at the Milwaukee Mile. Should be a good one, Ben.
So there you have it. That'll do it for us tonight here on the Sim Racing Network. Want to give a big shout out to the Dreamer Racing Series for sponsoring the Dreamer Racing Super Series, SARA for having us on board, and Splash and Go Graphics for sponsoring tonight's 150 lapper. For Mitch Rollo, I am Ben Kilcrease. Remember to check us out on Facebook. Just search the Sim Racing Network and check us out online, thesimracingnetwork.com. Until next week, good night from Irwindale. When we're out there on the roads, remember to put that phone down. We'll see you at Milwaukee.